This year's World Series of Bowling has been an international success story, with players from all over the world bringing some serious game against the American stars of the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour. Now, the ultimate battle, the first ever USA versus the world. Team versus team, player versus player, national pride on the line. Is America's bowling supremacy in jeopardy? It's the USA versus the world at the World Series of Bowling.
And we welcome you to Las Vegas in the South Point Hotel and Casino for professional bowling's version of the Ryder Cup. Team USA taking on the world from Las Vegas. Here are your individual matchups. Haugen, Russell, Malott, Rash, Barnes, and O'Neill for Team USA, taking on some of the best the world of bowling has to offer. Rob Stone, soon to be Hall of Fame inductee Randy Peterson here with you. 12 of the world's best are here going individually, but also in a team format as well.
Absolutely, and this reminds me of watching the Classic Men's League on Friday night at your local center, but instead of 5, there's going to be 6 players on each team. The format is as follows. It's going to be one game, but each team member bowls a complete 10-frame game, so we'll have 6 head-to-head matchups. Now, each matchup is worth 1 point. The team with a higher total pinfall earns 3 points. There's 9 points out there, Rob, but you only need 5 to win this competition.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's USA versus the world.
Handshakes between our first 2 individual competitors, Michael Haugen Jr. and Kimmo Lehtonen from Finland. And Kimmo, an interesting personality, also a wonderful bowler, Randy.
Yeah, and Rob, he's really going to be tested today, making his first ever televised appearance here in the United States. We'll see how the southpaw handles the nerves and how he matches up to the old pattern. Michael Haugen Jr., no stranger to television. You see him here taking care of Chris Barnes, winning a major, the Tournament of Champions. And Michael Haugen knows what it's like to bowl under the hot TV lights here in the States.
So Michael Haugen Jr. will start on the left lane. The entire American team will roll on the left lane through the first frame, and then the 2 sides will switch. So the native of Carefree, Arizona, starts it off, and then Kimmo Lehtonen from Finland will follow immediately. Messenger, not enough roll to take care of the 10. We slide on over to the right lane. It was great when we got to meet this gentleman, Kimmo Lehtonen. We spent about, the first 5 minutes going over the proper pronunciation of his last name. There's some mysterious letters in there that Randy and I seem to be missing. But we have found the lefty, the smooth stroke, and there's our opening jack. Oh, I like it. Little pose down. Lehtonen with the first strike. Haugen up to try and clean up the 10 pin on the left lane. So now Haugen up to try and get the spare. Takes care of the 10 pin. And Randy, the easiest kind of parallel to another sport you can come up with this event is Ryder Cup from the golf world.
Without question.
And here's a look, Randy, at our second individual matchup. We go Canada versus Team USA, and hard throwing Dan MacLelland from Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
2 very similar styles. You see the big high backswing from Dan MacLelland and all that power. Ronnie Russell possesses the same type of equipment. Although Dan MacLelland did struggle at the World Series of Bowling, he gained invaluable experience and knowledge. He'll have to apply that experience today. Ronnie Russell has been here before. He knows what it's like to bowl under the bright lights. He finished second at last year's Chameleon. He also has a second place finish at the Atomic Marathon.
Dan MacLelland from Canada. Smooth roll and a tough lead. Oh, he had a rough World Series of Bowling. He made 2 TV shows, but really wilted under the TV lights both times. Here's Ronnie Russell, the native now of Marion, Indiana, recently moved in the offseason, seeking his first PBA Tour title. Ronnie Russell right down the middle, big 4 on frame 2 for Team USA. Yikes.
The nice part is his opponent's also going to have an open frame, so unless Ronnie Russell can convert the big four, it's going to be probably 8-9 in that match. Remember, there's still total pins on the line, but you also want to beat the person across from you.
Russell only takes care of the 7. So Team USA still seeking a strike. Oh, well. Here's the other head-to-head matchup, if you will. Jason Belmonte taking on Wes Malott. Jason Belmonte from Orange, New South Wales, Australia. 3 times a runner-up last season.
Yeah, his only win coming in West Babylon, Long Island. But boys, he's sure fun to watch, and that unique two-handed style creates a lot of speed and a lot of power. The pins have no chance.
Wes Malott, no titles last season.
Yeah, but you know what? He is a former Player of the Year, and we all remember what he did at the King of Bowling. He bowled not 1, but 2 300 games. I mean, this guy just owned the Scorpion oil pattern.
Belmo was in the Scorpion and the Shark Show at the World Series of Bowling. Did not get a title in either one. The two-hander gets the 7 to drop late. Another strike for the world team.
Oh, what's this? You walk in front of your opponent, you go over to the other team to get 5. O'Neill shuns him. Looks like Jason Belmonte's already starting with the gamesmanship. I'm not sure you want to make the Big Nasty angry.
I know you don't want to make the Big Nasty angry. Here is Malott from Pflugerville, Texas. Whoa! Whoa! Did I mention whoa?
I think he's fortunate to get 8 on this shot.
He's fortunate to get a pin on this shot.
Out of his hand poorly, went to the right and stayed right.
Well, as ugly as that first toss was, he walks away with the spare. But his international competitor, Jason Belmonte, with a strike. And now our 4th head-to-head matchup. Osku Palermaa in the last show won the Shark title. And an invite to the TOC. He'll be taking on Sean Rash.
Well, that two-handed style is fun to watch. And when they get to the extreme inside part of the lane and start lofting it over the left gutter cap, well, Rob, it's pretty unfair to us mere mortals. Sean Rash, no stranger to power or speed himself. And who can forget when he won the Masters at Miller Park? I guess all I really have to say about that is, yeah, baby, yeah, Rob.
Well put, Randy. Well put. Rash, your number 2 seed at the PBA World Championship, which takes place next week here in Vegas. Here's your 3 seed, Osku. Boom! Blows up the rack.
Using a urethane ball.
Sean Rash, 4 Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour titles on his resume.
A little hang on that left lane, Rob.
On our last show, the Shark Championship, and again, it's a different oil pattern. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. They're bowling on the cheetah right now, but that left lane is an absolute nightmare for everybody on our Shark show.
Yeah, the left lane was a train wreck. It was awful. And part of that was because of the way the players broke down the oil pattern.
Oh, quick hands by Mika Koivuniemi. He and Chris Barnes, longtime buddies, Randy.
Longtime buddies and rivals on the lanes, Rob. These two have, well, they have a history. Major Mika getting his nickname because the first 2 tournaments that he won in his career, both majors, the 2000 Masters and the 2001 U.S. Open. I love the loft, his trademark form, that loft coming from a style that he learned bowling in Europe. Chris Barnes, well, he's no stranger to winning majors. He won the 2005 U.S. Open and the 2006 Tournament of Champions. But you ask Chris Barnes, he's left a lot on the table. A lot of rivalry here. I promise you, there's only one thing going through Chris Barnes' mind right now, and that's beating Mika.
So Mika Koivuniemi taking on the American Chris Barnes.
Do your thing.
A little head games from the Big Finn.
Wonder if it worked.
Well, Chris Barnes, a little sly smile after that effort from Mika. Team USA still without a strike. Going after 3-6-10. Mika covers it. Barnes going after the 4-7 on the left lane. Takes care of that. So that individual matchup tied, and now we go to our, I guess the simplest way to call is your anchor guys, your cleanup hitters, if you will.
Yeah, and starting with Hall of Famer Amleto Monacelli, 19 tour victories. This guy has really done some amazing things throughout his career. I remember the first time I watched Amleto throw it back in the early 80s, and man, everybody was trying to change his style, and he had this real unorthodox backswing and his left arm straight out in front of him. Well, good thing he didn't, because he turned out to be a tremendous talent and a Hall of Famer out on this tour. Speaking of a guy that can throw it, how about Bill O'Neill? Wins the Pepsi Viper World Series of Bowling. He has a U.S. Open victory to his credit. Bill O'Neill has really lived up to his nickname. He truly is the real deal.
A Hall of Famer, there you go. Amleto Monacelli, the native of, say it for me,
Barquisimeto,
Venezuela. I will never get tired of that. As long as we work together, I will never tire of that. Pretty shot.
That Hall of Famer still has the moxie.
You guys can hang out in the Hall of Fame club in just a couple weeks, right?
Be in his club soon.
Nice. Did you get a guest pass to the Hall of Fame club? Can I tag along once, maybe? There's Bill O'Neill.
Oh, the only strike for Team USA.
I didn't think that pocket would collapse like that. So they end on a good note, does Team USA. 1 frame down. Total pins advantage Team World by 2. Frame number 2 when we return to Vegas. The PBA USA versus the World Championship is brought to you by the makers of One A Day Men's 50+ Advantage, the multivitamin with more of what matters. By Barbazol. Start your day with Barbazol Shaving Cream, America's leader for a close, comfortable shave. By Go RVing. Visit GoRVing.com to watch a free video. Go affordably, Go RVing. And by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. ESPN and the PBA welcome you back to our coverage of the USA versus the World, the first event here in 2011. And time now for our Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood, my good friend and soon-to-be Hall of Famer, Randy Pierce.
The cheetah oil pattern is the shortest of the 5 named animal patterns at only 35 feet in length. But take a look at this beautiful blue color right here. This represents the heaviest concentration of oil. But you notice if you look to the outside part of the lane, no blue. Why? Hey, no oil. Lots of friction to the outside. Now don't kid yourself. This is not a typical house shot. Typically your league or house shot is a 10-to-1 ratio. Bunch of oil in the middle to that dry. This is still a 2-to-1 ratio. But anytime you give our players friction to the outside part of the lane, they are going to destroy that oil pattern.
Cheetah, dry outside. There's a little spot that is causing an issue in that left lane. Team USA only had 1 strike in their first frame. Here's Kimmo, the world team's first effort on the left lane. A late kick of the 10 will help his spare effort. Or late kick of the 7, I should say.
The second frame is going to possibly turn around for Team USA because they're off the left lane, now onto the right lane.
Haugen, his first effort in the second frame. Lead-off hitter for Team USA. A little drop and give me 10. Kimmo goes up and whips on the spare. Well, after the little flex in the first frame, it's tail between the legs.
Kimmo needs a hanky. Check this out. Gets up to shoot the 2-4. And now he's got to go back and face his teammates.
Well, in the Canadian. Yikes.
Could it be back-to-back open frames?
I mean, this is a really good bowler. Very talented, former All-American at Saginaw Valley State. A kid you really like. Boy, under the lights, it has been rough for him here in Vegas. Ronnie Russell. Pretty stuff.
You think there's a difference now between the right lane and the left lane?
Just a schmidge.
And the Americans get to finish on the right lane.
Back-to-back open frames, so Ronnie Russell takes the lead in that head-to-head matchup. Now it's Malott, the big nasty on the left, versus the Australian, Jason Belmonte. And Belmonte working Malott mentally right now. I mean, Wes is just dancing with the gutter, but it works right there, yeah. Elmo with a strike to match. And Kimberly Pressler in the crowd with a very special Hall of Famer.
That's right. I am with Carmen Salvino. Now, Carmen, you are a legend in the sport. You're also a great ambassador for the sport. What do you think about the quality of these international players?
I'll tell you, they're great. About 10 years ago, there was a big gap, but today, that gap is closed. It's amazing. You'd have to flip a coin who's going to win. But also, another interesting thing is these two-handed bowlers. They were throwing the ball so far out on the lane that we have to call the tower and see if there's any airplanes in the area.
Now, you are a very young 77 years old, and you are still competing professionally. You're going to be in the Tournament of Champions. How is that for you?
Well, that's true because I still work out with weights. I work out on a bike. In fact, I'm going to be bowling 100 games the week before I bowl that Tournament of Champions to make sure I'm in shape.
Well, we wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for being here.
It's an honor bowling with the guys, believe me.
Well, it's an honor just to have Carmen in your general vicinity, to be honest.
Without question.
What a great guy. Mika, no strike for you.
Once again, we see a ball not getting to the pocket on the left lane. The left lane is going to be key. Which team can figure out the left lane enigma will come out on top. Mika Koivuniemi covers the spare. And Rob, I think the other thing that you have to ask yourself is how much pressure because of this competition is starting to get to the players?
That's a good point. Here's Bill O'Neill, who had one of only 3 strikes so far in that left lane and misses the pocket badly here on the right lane. He recently won the Pepsi Viper, the 3rd career tour title victory for O'Neill. Here's Amleto Monacelli, voted the 21st greatest player in PBA history. Amleto with back-to-back jacks. So he has the lead now on O'Neill. Oh, big pickup from Billy O. Big pickup. And that is our Bear Trusted Pain Relief Replay, brought to you by the makers of Bear Aspirin. 2 down, 8 to go. The world team was up 2 after the first frame. They've extended it to 5. Welcome back to our presentation of USA versus the world. In the individual battles, it's 3 apiece between the USA and world, but the world team in the total pinfall with a 5-pin advantage. Again, the total pinfall per team worth 3 points. There are 9 points sitting out there. First, essentially to 5 will be your winner. And we get set to start the 3rd frame.
Michael Haugen Jr. up 14.
So Haugen with pair of strikes now. Kimmo working off an open frame. Remember, he whiffed on the 2-4 in the second frame. And the world team back to the friendlier confines of the right lane.
And Rob, you're trying to take advantage of the good lane. Kimmo makes a pretty good shot here, but that ball was a little weak when it entered the pocket, leaving the 7-pin. And right now, if you're Kimmo, you're trying to not bury your team. Let's convert the spare.
Kimmo gets the spare and another finish celebration.
He's trying to get his 15 minutes, right?
That's right. Jason Belmonte joins us now. And Belmo, how do we rate Kimmo's celebration so far?
Look, I said this a little earlier. You know, in Finland there's a few days there where the sun doesn't come up, so they just all become crazy. Kimmo's celebrations are famous around the world. You know when he's bowling good, when he's dancing on the approach. Or in this case, as long as he gets a spare, he's quite happy right now.
Kimmo always in his own little world. Danny Mac drops the ball there in the third. His first strike after back-to-back open frames. Ronnie Russell on the left. Cleans that one up in the third. 2011 PBA World Championship. 3 nights of live coverage begins next Friday on ESPN2. And that match, you'll have Wes Malott, your 7th seed, taking on Jason Belmonte, your 8th seed. The winner to take on 6th seed Michael Haugen Jr. The survivors bowl on Saturday, and then Sunday they're waiting in the wings. Your number 1 seed, Bill O'Neill. And here's Wes Malott. The big nasty leaves some double wood. And here's Belmo, one of 2 two-handed bowlers on the world team.
Right now.
Malott working off the strike, trying to clean up these last 2 pins. So Malott goes spare, strike, spare.
And not the easiest spare conversion, the 2-8, but nicely covered. Belmo trying to convert the 3-6.
And Belmo, strike, strike, spare. So that one a tight affair.
When I say that's like striking for me on that frame, that's a huge frame, everyone.
We figured that one would be a fairly tight battle here as Sean Rash trailing Palermaa by 10. Rash still seeking to gain some ground on Osku, who won the Shark Championship in our last telecast. Strike, strike, strike! Oh! No, a nasty messenger.
Ouch. That's one of the fastest messengers you'll ever see. Oh, this is just sick stuff. Watch this. He didn't like it out of his hand. Now he's like, yeah, that was good.
Osku, one of 3 Finnish nationals on the world team. I mean, you see that in MMA. They just drop the competitor out. Take out the smelling salts. Staying with our Finnish theme, Mika Koivuniemi trailing Chris Barnes by 1 in their head-to-head match. Heavy on that one was Mika.
3-6-9-10, not what you want to see.
Barnes blows up the rack. So a pair of strikes now for Barnes.
Oh! He wasn't sure about that one, I don't think, Rob.
Bill O'Neill down 10 in his head-to-head battle versus the Venezuelan Monacelli. O'Neill strike and a spare after throwing a washout and gets another strike. So O'Neill 2 strikes on that left lane. Monacelli looking to start off with an opening triple. Both Amleto and Osku Palermaa starting off with 3 baggers. World team was on top by 5 pins after 2. Ooh, things changed after 3. Team USA takes the overall lead by 1.
PBA legend Parker Bone III knows hardwood floors. That's why he installed Bellawood pre-finished solid hardwood floors in his own home. Available in a variety of species, there's no sanding, no smelly fumes, and it's durable. Just how durable is Bellawood?
Parker, don't even think about it.
Well, it does have a 50-year finish warranty. Bellawood, on sale now at Lumber Liquidators. Call 1-800-HARDWOOD for a store near you.